All right, back in the basement tonight. It's 8 o'clock at night right now. You can see by my BBC off there in the corner, my big black clock. But I have a Rogue grab bag barbell. This is a 29mm version. I figured I would untube it here on YouTube just so you could see what I get when I see what I get. Just thought it'd be interesting. Now, if you're not familiar with what grab bags are, let me give you a little bit of a story time. These are considered miscellaneous barbells that Rogue sells. Sometimes they are cosmetically defective, sometimes they're used bars, sometimes they're just all over the place. So it's really kind of more of a gamble versus something like the Boneyard, which you know you're going to get what you get because it'll say, you know, Ohio Power Bar, 45-pound version, bare steel shaft, chrome sleeves, but there might be some cosmetic flaws. With the grab bag, it is literally a crapshoot. Now, I've seen some people get some really good bars in the past, like Agro 3X bars that would normally retail for like $600, $700, maybe some of the Pyros Olympic lifting bars. I've seen those come through. The good thing about the grab bags is that it costs usually around $100 for the bar. For me, after shipping and tax, it ends up being $150. But to get something that could potentially be one of the top-end barbells that Rogue sells with sometimes little to no defects whatsoever is worth the gamble. Now, on the flip side of that, I myself, as I've seen many others, also get bars that leave a little bit to be desired. So I think I've done a couple here on the channel already. One had some big scuffs on the Cerakote, one had a lot of chalk and it was like bare steel. So it wasn't really a good bar necessarily, but it's too good of a potential opportunity to pass it up. Now, that being said, a lot of you are like, hey, that sounds like a good deal. I want to go ahead and I want to get a grab bag myself. These things sell out literally within minutes. So this one I think was up for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's very random when they appear. There's no real set schedule and they're not available on the website otherwise, meaning that if you go on Rogue right now and you search for grab bag or miscellaneous barbells, you're not going to find the product page for these. It's only when they're up and active, which again, doesn't last very long. So like I can't post it necessarily on Instagram and say, hey, grab bags are up, because typically by the time that you see that and I post it, they're already sold out. In fact, one of the only reasons I got this particular one is from the Home Gym Discord. Shout out to them. They have a bot. So I've talked about the Home Gym Discord a couple of times, a lot of great things to do. Some of the Chewy bars that you've seen, some of the other bars you will be seeing coming up shortly. I've bought other used things from people on the Home Gym Discord. They like talking shop when it comes to home gyms. Me too. There's also a bot on the Home Gym Discord that lets you know when the grab bags are up. I don't have notifications enabled, but I just happened to be on the Home Gym Discord when they popped up. Lucky enough to grab this 29mm bar. They also had 20.5mm bars, and I say that too because a cool thing that people do on the Discord is they share what bars they get and they track it, so you can kind of get a good feeling for what you're gonna get. And unfortunately for me, I don't have very high hopes with this particular bar, even though I have yet to open it. And I say that because most of the bars that I've seen from this particular grab bag drop have just been like bare steel bars with double track knurl. But anyways, I figured we'd go ahead and open it up here on the channel together and we'll take a look at what I got when I take a look at what I got. Now for this, I'm gonna open up the barbell tube and there's a lot of different ways to do this. My preferred method that just seems to be easiest for me is I get a flathead screwdriver and I pull it underneath the actual screw itself and I kind of wedge it to lift it up. And mostly it'll come up on one side. I then take a needle nose pair of pliers, I grab it and I just twist it and it usually comes right out or enough of it to get out. And I'll try to show you some B-roll on the other side of how I do this, but since I'm just gonna sit here and talk to you, it shouldn't necessarily take that long. I know other people like to do things like saw it off, and some tubes use stuff like screws and other things to hold these on. Rogue uses these staples. And it's funny because if you look at the instructions that Rogue provides in order to open these things, it's like, oh yeah, you just kind of peel it like you would like a cinnamon bun roll. No way could you peel something like this. In my experience, the cardboard is way too stiff. But as you can see here, the process is pretty simple. What can make this difficult, however, though, is if UPS or whoever's delivering your barbell beats up the end of these cardboard tubes and kind of compresses them where they're no longer that circular, which means it's hard to get the actual caps off, which is another part, which for me, needle nose pliers come into play. But again, this process of wedging the flathead screwdriver under, getting one end of the staple out, or in some case the entire staple, and then just pulling it out with a needle nose pair of pliers works really quick. Because I think after this one, this might be the last one actually. I'm doing pretty good. can't fake this on camera, my friends. But anyways, no real high expectations for this. And even though I don't need one of these bars, you know, ideally in an ideal situation, this would be a bar that I'm trying to get. So there was a grab bag drop that I missed that was mostly aggro 2 to 3. In some cases, it was like aggro 2.5 or maybe 2.9 or maybe, you know, 1.5, but it was an aggro style bar. So the only thing missing, which I've shown, I think that bar on video before, was the actual aggro little logo they do in Cerakote, which to me, I'm actually glad is gone because I don't like that little face logo on the bar. And in fact, I've been commenting on my Instagram page that the hybrid bar from Rogue, the hybrid power bar, which actually just released yesterday, which I posted about, which is 20.5mm stainless steel aggro 2 knurl, but it's a pure stainless steel shaft, so it doesn't have the Cerakote spots on it like the 29mm bar does, which means it doesn't have the ugly face on it, and also means it comes with its new, or I should say Rogue's silent sleeves from the Ohio bar series. It looks like a really awesome bar. I'm hoping they do that for a 29mm version, but we'll see. I'll stop talking because this is actually done. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do this. I thought I'd have to kind of speed up through it and do it at like 5 times speed. This went really quick. So all the staples are on this side. So I have my needle nose pliers again. There's like a metal cap inside. What I do is I just kind of work it out, pull, and there you go. So that was probably the quickest untubing that I've done, and the fact that I'm talking and made this happen, pretty proud of myself. So I'm gonna take this part out with just styrofoam, which is nice to see. It has a blank end cap, which is weird because normally these bars will have, actually I lied, I'm thinking of the Boneyard. Boneyards will have Boneyard end caps. Grab bags typically have blank end caps, which we'll flip around and take a look, but I think I need to move the camera back some. So for the sake of editing, we're just gonna do it like this. You're gonna get a little bit of a wider view. I think you can see everything in there. I'll come back into screen. I will dump this bar out and put it back up. So let's do this. Ugh. All right, so let's put this bar up. Let's try to get a little bit closer. And let me get you guys a little bit in screen as I inspect it. So it looks to be a completely one color bar. What I mean by that, there's no Cerakote on it or anything like that. What's interesting to me is the sleeves and the shaft is a different color. So that could be that this is maybe a bright zinc sleeve potentially. I don't think this looks like just bare steel, but the shaft itself is probably bare steel. It could be stainless, not likely. Maybe we can talk about a way to test it. I'm just taking a look here real quick. I do see some minor things up front. This might make a couple of you guys a little bit sick. I apologize. See if you can see some of this stuff. So there's a couple little bits of scuffing on this particular sleeve. Some of this stuff might, you guys can't see that, I'm sorry. Some of this stuff might clean off a little bit too. Obviously there's going to be some residue from the cardboard, but there's that. Let me put you back down. I really should have planned this out a little bit better. I'm not good at YouTubing. What do you want from me? Let me take a look at some of the knurl. So the knurl itself looks pretty good, at least over here. There's a couple of pressed marks right here towards the end. I do see some double track knurl, and I'll show you some close-up pictures of that right here near this particular ring, probably about 1/4 of an inch worth. Rest of this part of the bar looks good. Center knurl looks pretty good. This side, good. There's more double track knurl in this case, a little bit more prevalent. I would say probably about 3/4 of an inch leading up to the ring on this side. And then the rest of the bar actually looks pretty good. So I'll get you some close-up B-roll shots of that. Let me kind of move you guys back a little bit. I don't know if I'm in camera or not. And again, this is going to be a really rough cut video, so I apologize. But overall, I think the bar looks pretty good. I just got to test this to see if it's stainless or bare. I would assume it's bare steel with bright zinc or even maybe chrome. This looks like bright zinc to me. But in total, the biggest issues with this is, again, there's a 1/4 inch so of double track knurl here and about 3/4 of an inch here. But otherwise, for 150 bucks, I think this is a good deal, solid bar. Just because I love the Ohio Power Bar knurl as is. And this has what I would consider good enough versions of it. I don't think you're gonna really notice it too much, even though it's near the ring marks where your hands would grip. It's so minuscule, and it's not necessarily flat where it's not gonna make a bad deal. So you let me know in the comment section below. For $150 delivered to your door, do you think this is a good deal or not? In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.